This girl just put a drop in her eye, and the next second, all the students in the class were staring at her strangely. She thought she had something dirty on her face. She hurriedly took out her mobile phone to look at herself. She found that all the students in the camera were also staring at her strangely. Even the teacher on stage stopped lecturing and stared at her, looking at the horrible eyes of each and every one of them. The girl could no longer contain her inner fear. She rushed out of the classroom and went outside. She realized that her classmates were also staring at her. She didn't know what was wrong with her, so she asked a boy who was passing by, why was he staring at her? Strangely enough, the boy said he wasn't staring at her at all. Realizing that she might have met an evil spirit, she left the school in a hurry to go home. But when she came to the street, she was surprised to find all the pedestrians on the road were staring at her strangely. Whether it was a woman who was in a hurry to go to work, or schoolgirls taking photos with their mobile phones, they all turned their heads and stared at her, as if there was something scary on her face. Helpless, Nana hurriedly covered her face and went home. But when she turned on the TV, the couple in the TV also turned their heads and stared at her. She was so scared that she spat out the water in her mouth. She switched off the TV. Until then, she was still naive enough to think that she was hallucinating. She would be fine after a night's rest. But when she walked into school the next day, her classmates were still staring at her, so scared that she had to shield her face. She tried not to look at them, but the next moment, a male student bumped into her. As a result of the impact, the eye drops fell out of her backpack. The boy picked it up and gave it back to her. But because of this small action, Nana instantly realized something was wrong. She realized that the boy didn't seem to be looking at her. Confused, Nana pulled the boy. She asked him why he looked away from her. Instead, the boy took out a bottle of the same potion and told her the horrible truth. The exact same eye drops. It turns out that these eye drops are not ordinary eye drops. It's a kind of eye drop that makes people's eyes shift to you. When the girl heard that, she was instantly shocked because she didn't want to be stared at all the time. It's a scary feeling. Nick told her not to worry because the effect of this potion only lasts for 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, it will return to normal. Besides, in reality, they're not looking at you. It's just that in the eyes of the user, someone else is staring at them. It turns out that the reason why Nick bought this magic potion on the internet, because his dream is to become a star. Since the appearance of the potion, he found the feeling of being valued on stage. He told Nana that this feeling is very happy. He told her to feel free to use it. He also asked her if she didn't want to be valued and noticed by others. On the way home, Nana was thinking about something, because since she was a little girl, she'd always wanted her mother's attention. When she was a child, once she called out to her mother to let her see her flip the bar. She didn't realize that at that very moment, her sister, who was behind her, fell down the slide. She fell headfirst and died instantly. Panicked, Nana froze in place, overwhelmed by fear. Ever since that time when her mother had stared at her with her evil eyes, she never looked at her again. She thought she blamed her for everything. When Nana came home, she sat on a chair and read a book. She never looked at her. Then she went to her room. She realized that her mother's anger was still fresh. Nana took it as a test. She took out some eye drops and put them in her eyes. I didn't expect that the next moment, her mother came out of her room. She asked her what she wanted to eat. Seeing her mother finally look at her, Nana's heart felt a little comforted. After realizing that eye drops can really get people's attention, Nana's behavior suddenly became uncontrollable. Every day before she went to school, she would put a drop in her eyes. She gradually realized that she was happy. She enjoyed being valued by her mother so much. She thought this happiness would last forever, but the eye drops would soon run out. Sure enough, when she arrived at school that day, Nick, a male student, dragged her into the meeting room. Without saying a word, he fell to his knees. It turned out that he had run out of eye drops too. He searched the internet but couldn't find the shop. He wanted to buy Nana's remaining eye drops at a high price. Drops are out of stock. Nick, in order to continue to win the attention of others, Nick went so far as to kneel down directly to Nana. He asked Nana to sell him her eye drops. But Nana has also experienced the happiness brought by this kind of eye drop. She didn't want to sell it to him. Seeing Nick's emotions become more and more crazy, Nana apologized and turned to leave. When Nick saw this, he grabbed her eye drops. Two enthusiastic students saw this scene. They rushed to stop Nick. But when Nana was leaving, Nick said,
誰も自分のこと見てくんなくなった時耐えられないほど辛い現実が襲ってくんだよ
Nana also seems to be a bit scared. That evening, she went home to prepare dinner. Alarm clock suddenly went off, but when he went to his bag to get the eye drops, he found that he couldn't find it. Upon closer inspection, the bottle of eye drops was broken because of the tugging and pulling just now. She realized that without the eye drops, everything would come to naught. Nana's heart was overwhelmed, but when she turned her head to look at her mother looked at her with a worried expression. Seeing this situation, Nana apologized to her mother frankly because of the accident that happened to her sister. She really did not intentionally. She just wanted to get a a little attention from her mother. After hearing this, her mother was puzzled. After the accident that year, she's been neglecting her daughter. She always felt that she had done something wrong. That's why she didn't dare to look at Nana for a long time. She wasn't angry with Nana at all. Hearing this, Nana's heart was finally relieved. Even without the eye drops, she felt very happy at this moment. In the days that followed, Nana finally got rid of the eye drops. Everything was about to get back on track. But that day, all her classmates suddenly stared at her. She didn't understand what was going on until she reacted. She realized there was a knife behind her. It turns out that Nick, who lost his eye drops, has gone crazy. If he can't get the eye drops, Nana can't get them either. So he made a crazy decision.